What up, YouTube? I got inspired by Eric Hussein's video on hanwei and their various tsukas and their various differences, and how most hanwei that people get have the big old axe handle monstrosity. I just thought I'd show my four different models of hanwei. In my opinion, Dragon King is just hanwei. There's not really getting around that. They're the same place to me. Anyway, just so if you want to be technical, this is a Dragon King Savior katana. Then these three are hanweis. So starting at the high end here, this is a hanwei oni katana, and it has the I guess what's known as axe handle. But the thing I like about this one is it's got a reason to have the axe handle. If you look at the blade, it is just as big as the handle. It doesn't look weird or off because the blade itself is wider than a typical katana, so the handle matches and it makes more sense. Just kind of showing some of the detail. All of these I would consider definitely more high-end when it comes to hanwei. This being probably the most high-end, just because it's L6 bainite, which is expensive as hell. This one I found on Amazon as a last one for a very, very steep discount. So that was the only reason I was able to even get this one. This one I really, really like because it's just classic. I remember watching so many videos over the years of this one over and over, but many people were frustrated by the quality control on this one, and for the asking price, the quality control I was seeing in the videos was absolutely unacceptable. But I liked it so much, I was like, okay, well, I can fix it if it comes to me broken, or I can get a replacement if it's messed up. But then I found out hanwei's forge shut down, and I was like, okay, I'm going to just get this thing. It's really cool and features the Thunder God on the side. Very, very detailed. It's hard to see off my phone, but there's that. Casting detail is awesome. It features a black silk ito. It came to me loose and I tightened it with lacquer. So that is something just to be said, that as far as quality control, that's something that shouldn't exist on a blade this expensive. To do with that what you will. This Manuki is really hard to see and understand what it is, but I love the way it just kind of locks right in here. There's, I think it's on this side, there's bigger nodules, but no actual emperor nodes or anything on the Semigawa. It is really nice though. The funnest thing about this sword is that it's wide and big and thick, and so it has a much more kind of XL geometry to it. It's a very cool, unique blade with very unique features. Something like this is extremely unique. It's got a metal finish here. It's got a kind of gray bronze habaki with the cool little file work in it, which I really like. And then the blade itself has just awesome tritone polish. And to me, I mean, I could be wrong. They could be lying to me, but I feel like for the asking price, they're not. To me, this is L6. I don't want to break the blade apart and go get it tested. But maybe someday I'll get this one tested. I don't know if you can do that without getting a sample of the blade or something like that. But anyway, L6 blade. This sword impressed me in the sense that I was expecting the absolute worst and I got better, but you kind of have to be the judge on if it's worth the asking price. In my opinion, if you're not getting it on a steep discount, it's still not really worth the asking price. It is very, very cool and extremely unique, and now becoming more rare as time goes on. But I love it because it has this unique saya, the very cool korigata, bullhorn right here on the Koiguchi, and overall just an excellent blade. It's an absolutely beast cutter. It came to me perfectly sharp. I've been able to pull off quite a bit of cool little trick cuts with it, even though it's a massive blade. It moves around very well. It's got a 14-inch tsuka, I believe. Yeah, 14-inch, which feels phenomenal with the blade. The blade is 29 inches and 3 pounds. So with that weight, this kind of acts as a really good counterbalance. But yeah, so far it's held up really well. After doing lacquer to it, the Ito has felt really good on it. Moving on to my other longer blade. This is the Dragon King Savior Katana, and in my opinion, this is one of their best swords as far as the overall aesthetic and just the level of craftsmanship you get from this one. So, if you look here, the best part about this blade has to be the detail work on this. It is just ridiculously nice. It's the deity Fudo Mio, so with this one you've kind of got like a demon theme going. Here you kind of have like a more positive god theme going. It's really cool. You've got a Buddhist sword on the Kashira here. Fuchi, I believe. I always forget the names. And then the Manuki here are also that, which I think are the coolest Manuki I have on any sword. This just looks freaking awesome. One thing to be said about this that's absolutely amazing is the diamonds are great, and this is how tight it came to me. It doesn't move, so it's really nice in that sense. The casting quality from Hanwei and Dragon King is just top tier. I really like these little silver spots here because they match the ones on here. I put these prayer beads on it just because I thought it was kind of more of a Buddhist themed sword, and I thought they looked really good. One thing I like about Dragon King as opposed to Hanwei is they do these thicker seppa, and they just feel more expensive and like more put together. The blade is a T10 blade. It features a triple tone polish. It is not folded or anything, so there's no grain work here. But in the right light, this hamon is awesome. And there's just something to be said specifically about Dragon King and Hanwei's T10. I think it's a higher quality than the average forge. I could be wrong on that, but in my opinion, it just comes across keener, it stays sharper longer, and it's just the polish and the cut and the geometry on them are usually a lot more refined. Taking the blade out, if you look here, this thing has an absolutely disgustingly large kasaki. It's fucking awesome. It's got a chukasaki as far as this goes, but the back of it has just got this absolutely massive, wide, flared tip that sings. When you swing it, it has an excellent tachikaze, a much deeper bohi. So if you look at it, it's just got like a more kind of refined, elegant look to it. This also creates an excellent feedback if you're doing Iaito. To me, this is an all-around incredible sword. I can use it to cut tatami, bamboo, water bottles, pool noodles. It goes through all of it. It stayed very keen and sharp. And I really just like that the termination of the bohi is done better. It's really sad when you have a bohi that looks really nice and then it terminates in a weird way or just kind of fades. This one does not. It has a very, very elegant look to it. It also has a pretty unique sori. This isn't your typical long quan sori. It's a little bit straighter, which is really cool because it just adds a little bit more variety to it. It's got a 30-inch blade. Mine came 30 inches, which I am not complaining about. 30-inch blade with a 12-inch tsuka, and the balance is absolutely excellent. This is one of the most well-balanced swords I own. This thing does not feel over-encumbered or weird or anything. Never do I use this and feel sluggish. I can always pull doubles with this one. I can always get double cuts on pool noodles with it. It's nimble, it's fast, and it is extremely sharp out of the box. This thing, the only issue I had was that it just didn't fit perfectly in the actual saya when I got it. it falls out pretty easily. That's an easy remedy. We all know how to do that. Moving on to the koi, which is one of the weirdest, most unique swords I have. The koi is one that I wanted to get because I noticed that there was almost no reviews or videos on it. It's the same exact type of blade as the Savior. It is a just standard T10 triple polished. It features, just like all the other ones I have, bullhorn, corrugata, and I don't think this has a bullhorn here, but it does for sure here. It's hard to see because it's all black, but the detailing work on this, even though it's a black iron, is extremely nice. It's kind of cool to see just like plain black iron, but done with a lot of detail. I'm a huge fan of the way this one looks. I also really like this blade. This is like a war blade. This thing is made to kill. It's got a nice kasaki, and I like the boshi, and I really like the way that the hamon follows the kasaki there. It does have the triple polish kind of hanwei frosted hamon. I'm a huge fan of these, especially if you're going to get something that's not folded. This just to me is a great way to make something look good, and it doesn't seem like it's that much more work to get this polish. It's just more Japanese. It just looks better, and I like this one too because it's got the longer tsuka. But something to be noted about this specific tsuka and this one here, neither of them are the big, huge, fat ones we're used to seeing when it comes to hanwei. Like Eric was talking about, if you can't do this over it, it's a little bit harder to control a sword. So my hand can go completely over it, and I can connect to the blade very easily. It does have a little bit heavier, beefier blade than the Dragon King Savior does, but it has a very long tsuka that actually feels really, really good. This tsuka is very, very well done. This one came to me very, very tight, and it's kind of hard to tell, but it has almost an hourglass shape. Not completely. It's a little bit more big on top and slim on bottom. But all of the ones that I have gotten, I've been very lucky and fortunate to have pretty good quality control and very good shaping. My tsukas aren't weird or misaligned or anything. This one is nice because it is a heavier blade. I think this one comes in at like 2.9 pounds, but it's, again, got the same thing that the Oni katana has, where it's got a balance to it. So I really like this one. The detail work is exceptional. The white Ito is nice. It's definitely kind of got a little bit of Ghost of Tsushima vibes, but in my opinion, it's a cooler looking sword. It's got this really nice gold dragon here, or brass. And then on the other side, it's kind of hard to see. Emperor nodes, but when they're black, but there's one right there. And then I think there's one other, but I'm not seeing it right now. So I think there's just the one. It's got a standard hibaki, classic. But this one is, it surprised me. When I got it, I really enjoyed it. I did have to sharpen it up a little bit. It came to me kind of on the duller side. But it's just a great beast cutter. This thing goes through anything. It's a very well crafted blade. No rippling, just well forged. And pretty, underappreciated. I feel like a lot of people didn't get this one when it came out. So, it is not very talked about. But this blade is very much a unique one to me. This was the first hanwei that I purchased, and I was pleasantly surprised. And it made me realize that I wanted to get a couple more. So I went ahead and got the Oni. And then the last one I'm going to talk about is the Orchid. Now the Orchid is literally completely different than the rest of these swords. This is a 26-inch blade, and it's a Swedish powder steel or Japanese powder steel. I can't remember which country this is from, but let me just kind of see if I can show off the blade here. Yeah, you can see it great in this lighting. So you can see the folding lamination on this one. This is probably the nicest blade I have. Aside from my actual antique, this is the most fun to look at. The detail work on this blade is just exceptional, and it's got the just awesome looking traditional polish. It's just such a unique sword, and has a nice tsuka as well. It also has a very nice curve to it. It feels a lot more like an tachi. It has much more elegance in the curve. You can kind of see it. It doesn't have that. It doesn't have the same kind of bigger handle either. It's got a smaller 12-inch handle. If you look here, there's a bigger node right there. This one also came to me very well tightened. No issues with them moving around or anything like that. It's also very slim for a hanwei, and it's small. It's got a very nice, just quick balance to it. One thing that's exceptional about this sword is the tsuba is just, I don't know, it's just a cut above. It's hard to explain over camera, but it's very nice. It has like a inlay on the gold right here, and it just feels more like elegant and ornate. These are grasshopper manuki, which are extremely rare. I don't think I've ever seen grasshopper manuki on anything except maybe an antique. And this sword is just quick. It's a fast, nimble cutter. Works extremely well for like quick bottle cuts. It just has an awesome vibe to it too. It's very unique. It has a bullhorn here and there, and it came with the, you know, classic kind of cheaper end Sageo from hanwei, but I like these better than the other type, the like thicker shoestring ones. It has this really cool end cap that it matches the aesthetic here, and the end cap is really nice. If you look at it from, you know, far away, it's got this very elegant, unique kind of curve to it. It's just very different than what you're going to see from most production katana, and a lot like the Oni because of the steel type. It is on the more expensive side, but to me this one is worth it. I would put it up against my antique as far as quality and craftsmanship. It's just extremely well made. The Ito is definitely not like very well done. Like, it does not look as good as the others by any means, but functionality wise it came perfectly tight, and the blue silk just looks amazing to me. The blue over the white is one of my favorite color combos. But you can see here like kind of some issues with this. It definitely looks like a hanwei. It's like, I don't know what happened here, and I don't really know what happened here. Sometimes these manuki, they just are big. But one thing that's interesting is, despite these kind of popping out quite a bit, I never feel like they're getting in the way. And I think that has to do with it being silk. It just grips better. Oh, something else I should mention too. This is like the faker silk. Like, I don't think this is as high a quality from Dragon King. This is Japanese cotton, which is my favorite, because it's just softer on the hands. It doesn't like slip as easily. And in my opinion, it looks just as good as the silk, if not a little bit better. It doesn't get this thready kind of weirdness down here at the end. It's like, look at the knot there. It's just better. So I would say, like, if you're looking into getting hanweis, I think a few of these are still on the market. I know for a fact the Savior is still there because it's Dragon King. But I thought I would just kind of make a version of Eric Hussein's showing different hanwei. These hanwei, I kind of got them specifically because I didn't see a lot of other people using them or talking about them. But one thing that's just cool is that they don't really have that kind of, I don't know, typical look that hanwei has. They're definitely different, and I think they're just a cut above when it comes to quality. If you're looking for like a faster, nimble cutter, I would go with this one. If you're looking for more of something to cut through some bamboo and a big heavy trainer, This one is really nice. If you practice a style that uses longer tsuka, this is an excellent one because this is a 28.5 blade with a 15-inch tsuka. This is a 30-inch blade with a 12-inch tsuka, I believe. And then this one is a 29-inch blade with a 14-inch tsuka. I would say all around, this is probably the best one I own as far as like usability. I can use this for Iaido, I can use this for Battle Jutsu. It's super easy to use for anything really. And then nimble wise, this is the fastest. This thing is super light and elegant and quick. It's just an excellent sword all around. I would say as far as getting your money's worth, I would say the Dragon King Savior, you're probably going to be the happiest if you get this one. But it depends on what you're looking for. So overall, these are just something I wanted to talk about. Hanwei's always been kind of a hit or miss brand, but at least for my experience, they've been mostly hits. I absolutely love these swords, and I think that they are unique and exceptional. There's a specific feeling with these swords that I just don't get from my other production katanas. They feel unique. They feel, each blade feels completely different. It doesn't feel like I'm, pulling from parts bins and getting another of the exact same sword. Like they feel different. They have weight to them. They feel like weapons made to kill. And that's kind of the thing I feel like about them, that they're designed closer to antiques in my opinion. Now they don't necessarily look like antiques. They're much more obviously from like China, but Paul Chen just did something different, I feel like, with his swords, and there's just something about them that I can connect to, and I can't even really put it into words. But with these, there's just a connection when I pick the blade up, and I feel more in tune with where the indexing is going and when the cuts are happening, and I just love that they all four have very unique polishes, and they just are bright, unique, balanced swords. Even the Oni, being very heavy, is a balanced, fun cutter. So yeah, hopefully this video made sense and was cool, and yeah, have a good day. Tone Deaf out.